So a Catholic, an atheist, a Satanist, and an agnostic walk into a bar. This episode is intended to spread awareness and answer questions. The views and beliefs expressed are based on the individual's personal experiences and teachings. We are here to learn, discuss, and get fucking wasted.
The first hour is going to be Nick fucking just ranting about Catholicism,
Just
and then we finally get into it.
Y'all are wrong.
Welcome, everyone, to this very special episode of You Hate to See It. We are finally breaking down serious topics. It only took us a year and a half to do it.
To finally muster up the courage to put ourselves out there as people.
Yes.
So we are covering religion and our different faiths, and we are doing it with a special guest. So my name is Adam.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Nick.
And our special guest for this episode is Dirk. Hello, Dirk.
MILFs.
Always MILFs.
Speak to them.
MILFs.
MILF
Papa has returned with his cigar, with his pina colada, and big meaty hands that are here to help you in your stress levels.
Jeff also has meaty hands.
I do.
He does. It makes his dick look smaller.
Yeah, they make my dick look smaller. I have sausage fingers specifically to make my dick look smaller.
Have I ever told you that I identify truly sexually with a MILF? I identify with them. I speak to them. I also
You're the MILF whisperer.
crave. Well, I crave sex and get none.
Okay, so okay, all right. I guess that adds up and answers my question.
So Dirk, you said you're drinking a pina colada. I have various flavors of fuck you, Garrett, cacti.
Those are good.
Decent.
Those are pretty
decent.
solid. Those are pretty solid.
I think the ones he left though were the shitty ones.
The lime was good. I'm pretty
the
sure.
lime was the only good one. The rest of them are fucking dog shit. So I can't wait to drink this strawberry flavored can.
I'm drinking. I hit the ground running. I'm drinking this Heaven's Door double barrel whiskey. It is 100 proof.
There's a lot of whiskey. There's a lot of whiskey missing from that bottle.
Yeah. I mean, I've had it for like 3 months, so that's why. But
nice.
But a little spoiler, we did record right before this, and it was half full at that. So
nice.
If you're wondering why Jeff, Nick, and I all have blue light filter glasses on,
we care about our eyes.
Yeah. I love the bass boost. I'm Nick. I don't know if I said that already.
Yes,
I'm
you
drinking I'm drinking Camelot Honey Mead. As you can see, this is half empty, which I just opened. Also, I have Jim Beam bonded bourbon, so it's 100 proof. We're getting saucy with it. We're getting lost in the ranch.
Son, Jesus Christ.
We're getting saucy.
Before Dirk goes any further, or Nick goes any further, I think I want you to know, everyone, I am sorry, but Nick will be talking a lot as Nick is very fucking drunk already.
I am so drunk.
Dirk, hit it. You always ask us what we're up to on our podcast. Dirk, tell our listeners what the fuck you're up to.
Well, I have been coming up with something called dad gaming. And, me being in my 30s now, I've been thinking about like...
So sorry.
If you're in your 30s, it's like you've got a career, you've got shit to do, you need to be able to settle down. My grandfather spends so much of his time downstairs working on model railroads, and then in my pursuit of working with Warhammer 40K, I realized, oh fuck, I'm actually following his footsteps, except with something much dorkier and less likely to get me laid. So
I was gonna say that's like, I'm pretty sure it's more expensive also, I think.
No, I get that. My grandfather, his passion before he died was Schlitz, and I'm picking that up with mead. So I get
my
that.
grandfather's my dad's dad was making homemade wine, and he was very good at it.
And now you're a smoker. Now you smoke meat. This is very similar.
Yeah, that's it. It's not my hard alcoholism.
I was trying to color it differently. Just fuck you.
So going into this, I would like very briefly us to kind of say our faiths. So I'm an atheist. I was raised partially Catholic, partially Lutheran. It was kind of like leaning more into being Catholic, but it was my parents were. My dad was Catholic, my mom was Lutheran, and my mom didn't really care that much what I was, and so my dad kind of took the reins on my religious beliefs more. But my mom still like had her ideas thrown in there as well, so I kind of got a little bit of both. But yeah, now I'm an atheist.
Hi, I'm Nick. I've said this for the third time this episode.
Fascinating.
Yeah, wild, right? Nothing's changed in the
What does that mean?
5 minutes.
Yeah, what's it mean?
What does being Nick means?
Actually, fuck the whole religion thing. Get into who you are.
So I was born and raised Roman Catholic. I went to Catholic school for K through 12. However, as Adam can attest, I don't like the idea of calling myself a non-traditional Catholic, as I still feel like I uphold the traditional Catholic beliefs. It's just that I would teach it exuberantly differently than what I was taught. I don't know how it stuck with me, but I would teach it 100% differently than how I would taught it.
Yeah, so I'm technically now agnostic, but I was raised very Lutheran until basically like high school. After my like confirmation, my parents made it a very big thing because I got confirmed in 8th grade. My parents made it a very big thing of, all right, you're confirmed now. You went through like our religion, like what we believe in. And this is kind of where you get to now start to decide who you want to be like religiously. So I went through Lutheranism. The difference is the big thing is if you want to go all the way back to where it's separated from Catholicism is Martin Luther went and pinned a list of things on the Catholic Church's door, and he got reprimanded greatly for that. But we'll get.
Fun fact, I agree a lot with what Martin Luther said. I agree a lot with what he said.
And basically, I don't really know how to give a difference. I'm sure Nick probably actually can give a better difference because, I mean, I was in 8th grade when I got confirmed and then kind of gave away after that. So I don't really retain most of that knowledge. I gave up Lutheranism basically after I was confirmed. Like, I still went because my parents went every Sunday, but I stopped caring, I guess, or paying it, not really caring, but stopped paying attention to it. And really the thing is like with Lutheranism is there's a sermon. I can't even, the thing that sucks is I remember the sermon, but I can't remember it perfectly to really put it into words. Is it's more of your works and your good deeds over your overall like wanting and love for God.
Do you mind if I clarify there?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the big clarification between Lutheranism and Catholicism is, other than, back in the day, buying sin relief.
Yeah.
Other than that, Catholics believe that you can't just believe. You also have to, practice. You have to practice what you believe. Whereas Lutheranism is, if you believe, you're fine.
As long as you believe and you understand there is a God and you fear and love him, no matter where you stray, it doesn't really matter.
That's all I couldn't have said it better myself.
Which is why, like, when we get into this now, after I just said that, is going to really explain where my agnostic views are, because I was raised Lutheran and I'll just say it now. I don't really know what to believe in, but I still do believe in a God. So it's like that thing of Lutheranism as you believe, so that's good enough. But that's where I'll leave that for now, at least.
Many, many centuries ago, Martin Luther said, "Nah, this is bullshit. Where's my fucking hammer?"
We still get angry about that day. Like, we still get angry.
Understandable.
Us Catholics still kind of like, every time that day passes every year, we just kind of go, anger.
Heresy.
Blasphemy.
I am a Satanist. I first read the Satanic Bible when I was 18 years old out of curiosity. And then upon reading it, I was like, oh, I actually agree with this.
I went
And
the
then-
same way with Karl Marx, but I went the opposite way.
Oh, yeah. I read
I think everyone's done that.
Yeah.
I read Marx's work and it was like, how the fuck do you apply this in real life?
What idiot actually believes this?
So we are atheists. It is atheism with theatrics in a way. We are our own gods, and we use Satan as a symbol of of our outlook in life. And when we refer to Satan, we actually refer to the old Hebrew meaning of the adversary. So we don't believe in supernatural beings. We don't believe in like a literal Satan. I do want to make it clear as well here that I am a member of the Church of Satan. However, I am not yet an active member of the Church of Satan. So what that means is that I cannot actually speak for the Church of Satan, but I'm able to like, I can still like comfortably come to this conversation and like talk about it.
I'll throw my hand up.
Yes, I will also afterwards.
Yes.
So what I was always taught was what Satanism was like a satanic mass was the complete opposite of a Catholic mass. So all of the altar boys and girls are naked. It's you're fucking throwing fucking that. I've been taught that. That's what I've been taught. Altar boys and altar girls are naked.
No.
Also, when I say boys and girls, I don't mean underage. I mean of age people. When I say so, and like when you take the Bible, you take the Satanic Bible, the priest like fucking plays with himself and shit. That's what I was taught what a satanic mass was. That's what I was always taught. It is everything that the Catholic Church teaches, but opposite.
There are people that unironically call themselves satanic socialists, and it's the cringiest fucking shit. So to give some history here, back in 1966, Anton LaVey started the Church of Satan and released the Satanic Bible, which codified the religion of Satanism. Before this, it has never happened in history. And in fact, Satanism was equivalent to using the term degeneracy. It was an accusatory term for anything that the Christians didn't like. And so with that, he was able to determine like, okay, here are these things that are mixed together, and this is Satanism. Black Mass is really a way of playing into the superstitions that Christians had related to Satanism. And there's really not much as far as like sin goes into it. It's like at the altar, they may have a naked, fully grown woman, but that is meant to drive the emotions out of people. So there's no masturbating, but there is plenty of theater to it.
I'm going to ask the hard question here real quick.
Mhm.
And I've been waiting on this one for weeks now, ever since I realized we were going to do this episode with you. So what the fuck's your guys' hymnal like?
Hymnal?
Yeah.
Like book of
Of
music
songs,
stuff?
yeah.
Well, that's the
It's
thing.
not just Slayer. I'm going to be
Yeah, is it
upset.
not
It's
just
Slayer.
is it not just like Raining Blood by Slayer?
You know what? Honestly, you might have me there. If that's all it is, you
I
may
would
have
assume
me.
it's just Slayer and like Raining Blood. Like
People within the church have actually said that Frank Sinatra is satanic because
He was Catholic. What?
this is because Satanism is a carnal religion that embraces the romantic desires that we have. So with Frank Sinatra expressing love in his music, to us, that is satanic.
okay.
So one of the big differences between, I would say the two big really overly conservative religions are or versions of Christianity are Catholicism and Baptist.
Mhm.
I think those are the two overly conservative. So Baptists are like, oh, Jesus never drank. Jesus was pure. Us Catholics believe that Jesus was 100% human, 100% God. If he was 100% human, that man drank, he was horny, he was ready to go. He was all of it. Therefore, if I don't want to drink, I am judging myself more righteous than Jesus himself. That's what I got.
Okay.
That was my spicy take.
So Dirk, it sounds like what we see in the media about being a Satanist is kind of Christianity propaganda against the religion.
Yeah.
You also get that you guys are very cult-esque. You're very it's not a unified religion. It's outcasts, it's your goth kids, it's your emo kids, whatever you want to label them as, grouping up.
So I went to the religion subreddit, and
God bless. I am so sorry.
I mean, I just opened up for questions because I was actually getting nowhere. Like I have my personal questions, but I didn't know how many questions everyone else was going to come with. So I felt like I needed more. And Google search was not doing much for me. First of all, number one rule on the religion subreddit is no bigotry of any kind. And many people broke that. And I was just like, hey, like, these are the faiths that the four of us are, and we're going to do a respectful discussion about religion and our beliefs and stuff. Does anyone have any questions for any of these faiths, like, at all? And one person came at me and was like, being a Satanist is not real religion. I put that on the same fucking level as being as worshiping a spaghetti monster. And he's like, I don't have to show respect to that kind of cultist bullshit. And I just responded like, almost every religion at some point was some cultist bullshit. Like, at some point, it was wrong to be some religion. Literally, Christianity was cultist bullshit.
A cult. Satanism was technically once a cult against Christianity. I personally would say, like, everything starts as a cult. Like, that's how it works. Catholicism was a cult. Don't give me the dude's username. I don't give a fuck. If he finds this podcast and he listens, you are literally the reason that people are afraid to be religious. You are the reason that no one wants to come out and talk about the things that they want to talk about. You are literally the scum of this earth, and you don't deserve to have a fucking opinion. So, Dirk, give us your hot take on that. Like, how do you feel about that response?
The thing is, I actually really do like Pastafarianism and the way that the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster started. Like, the origins of it was the guy who started it noticed that a public school system was trying to teach Christianity, like a creationism, in the school as a way of contesting evolution. And so he said, no, you know what? If you're going to do this, then you need to be teaching the Flying Spaghetti Monster and how and their origin story. And so, like, he pushed to the point where it's like, okay, fine, we won't put creationism in the fucking class then. And so with this, you have people like the Satanic Temple, who stomp their feet and cry as loud as they can that they are Satanists, when in reality they are just they're just a political activism group that uses the guise of being a religion. And so I have been having to argue against the Satanic Temple and what they're doing, because what they do blatantly misrepresents Satanism overall. So Satanism it lived through the satanic panic of the 1980s. And there is the notion that if the Satanic Temple is not careful about how they handle things, they could start another satanic panic by making victims out of Christians, because there are a lot of Christians that have a victim complex to them.
Yeah.
So Satanists don't like to proselytize. We don't like to try to convert people. We say that a Satanist is born, not made. You read the book and realize you're a Satanist or not, and move along.
How big is the book?
Yeah, I'm also curious at this.
It's not that big. I mean, you could read it in less than a week if you wanted to. If somebody wants to read the Satanic Bible, also make sure that it is the book that was written by Anton LaVey. And the reason I say this is because Michael Aquino is someone who was involved in the church and then decided, yeah, you know what, this isn't theistic enough, and created the Temple of Set, which tries to mix Satanism with Egyptian mythology and adds theism to it. And he tried publishing his own version of the Satanic Bible, saying like, you know, when Anton LaVey published the book, he was so angry. But here I have this new version of the Satanic Bible for you, which is, it's horseshit. Well, it's like there are people that try to bring like modern Satanism, which is also another dumb idea, because like everything you need about Satanism is really in the Satanic Bible. It doesn't include politics. It doesn't include some sort of like pseudo philosophy into it. It's just a way of living where you serve your own interests, but you also just you do what you want to, as long as nobody is hurt.
Would I be wrong to conclude that like Satan is like the Satanism and which you adhere to is very just like hedonistic from like a Greek aspect?
Can you explain that?
So hedonism, Greek, is very self-centered, you know. Sex is good for the soul because it makes you feel good. Eating food is good for you because it makes you feel good. Hedonistic in like the most ancient Greek aspect and Roman aspect.
So yeah, it is a carnal religion that says that the 7 deadly sins are actually good things. So things like greed, you're trying to do what is best for yourself and make sure that you are going to be living the best life possible. Lust, it's like, you know, you need to understand that you do have carnal desires, and it's indulgence instead of abstinence, but not compulsion.
I understand as someone who studied like psychology, like we go into those like 7 deadly sins at one point. You do go and learn about them, and I think
They are natural.
Yeah, like as coming from a psychological standpoint, those are very natural things. Those are emotions. Those are things. Yeah. Well, I guess they're not all emotions, but they are things that lead into that. Nick probably knows the name of it. I can't think of it. But I don't. The pyramid. What's the pyramid for psychology?
Oh, self-actualization. Yeah.
So like I think that those go together, and a lot of religions don't actually put them together in a way that makes you feel like a natural human being, that don't make you feel like, oh, these are okay things. Like psychology says, yeah, like that's how everyone feels, but it doesn't make you feel okay with feeling those feelings. And that's a huge thing about being a human. And studying psychology is actually kind of why I became agnostic, because of how our brains work and what we desire and what we want out of life. And it's different for every person. That's the huge thing about it, is we all desire things, and we all have the same types of feelings, but how we feel those feelings are different. And no religion takes that into aspect of, we have these like the 7 deadly sins. Like we all have those feelings in some way, shape, or form, but they're different for everyone.
So I actually have a question for Dirk on that. Is there like any reaction towards Beatitudes in Satanism?
The Beatitudes. Let me look that up real quick here. Do I need to look up like the Catholic Beatitudes?
I mean Beatitudes just in general, Christian, I guess. Honestly, I couldn't tell you all 11 Beatitudes. I couldn't tell you that.
Because I have not touched on the Beatitudes except like not since I was in a Lutheran private school. So let's see. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Like, what does the poor in spirit mean precisely?
So poor in spirit, I guess poor in spirit would just be, you know, those who are, I almost want to say down on their luck. I hate to use that. It's like such a colloquial term, but like, you know, I fairly admit I couldn't have told you that of the Beatitudes. I am so out of touch.
Sure. I'll touch on some of these actually. So the poor in spirit, like the people that are down in their luck, we would say that you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and you need to actually try to take care of yourself.
So the Catholic like aspect of like poor in spirit is the beggars that Jesus would have taken care of, the beggars that Jesus would like the man who can't walk that Jesus would have cured.
Mm-hmm.
You are poor in spirit. Theirs is the kingdom. It's if you are down, if you are poor, this life doesn't matter for you. What matters is the next life. Do the best you can in this life, but the next life, that is where you will be rewarded.
Sure. To that, I would say that you need to make sure that the life that you currently have right now is the best you can absolutely make for it, because there is no guarantee that there is another life after this one. Blessed are they who mourn. I mean, that is being in touch with something that you believe is sentimental, and that should be embraced. Blessed are the meek, though. That is one that we're going to be butting heads at. So it is defined as quiet, gentle, and easily imposed on, and submissive. I don't like being told what to do. I have been going by the beat of my own drum for the majority of my life. Those who hunger for thirst and righteousness. Now that's going to be depending on who is determining what is righteous, because like the Christian form of righteousness may not necessarily be the same for the Satanist as well. Merciful, that we actually have some rules of. It is responsibility to the responsible. So if somebody understands that they need to quit smoking, they absolutely do so. If they find somebody that, if they have somebody that is using them, fucking get rid of them, kick them out. Clean in heart, that was also going to be like subjective towards what they're going to think of as merciful. Like a lot of these beatitudes like are they're meant to be submissive towards a God that they believe in, but for us, it's like with us being our own gods and looking out for ourselves, we have to act as our own authority based off of our own ethics.
So I get where you're coming with that, and I also get where, from a Catholic teaching, this is where I split from typical Catholic doctrine, is that to me the greatest gift that God ever gave us was free will, and the greatest gift that Jesus ever gave us was the ability to actually impose our free will and still be forgiven. The meek, if you look at someone who's in a dictatorship, you are rewarded for standing up for yourself, for standing up for your brother, for standing up for your neighbor. You are rewarded for standing up against evil. But you're also rewarded for, I'm not strong enough to stand up for myself. I can't do what my neighbor is doing because I have a family to take care of. Both are rewarded.
Well, we have a notion that is referred to as tucking the horns. So like if you find that being open about being a Satanist is going to hurt you, like professionally, politically, within your family, and you don't have to do it, then don't.
I do the same thing as being an atheist.
I get that, because I also get that, because I know for a fact, like I know that there are Catholics and Christians in certain countries, so where if you come out and say, hey, I am a Catholic, I am a Christian, you're going to be executed, you're going to be beaten. I get that, but so it's not, I don't want to say like it's different levels of rewards. I don't want to say that we're now gonna fucking walk into purgatory. Purgatory is a fucking hell of a place. And purgatory for Catholics is different for purgatory for other Christians. For purgatory for Catholics it's the exact same place as hell. It is the exact same, except in purgatory there is hope. There's hope that at some point I will leave here and I will go to heaven. someone who is in one of these horrible places, they're worried about their family. They're worried about this. They're worried about that. They won't be in purgatory for long. It's not one of those. And they may not even reach purgatory, because I'm not God. I don't know. But they are able to, there is still hope that they will reach heaven. Whereas if someone is, I will be executed for this, for saying I am Catholic, and I am Catholic, and they say that, it's weird, because it's not so much that they reach heaven quicker. It's that they have the opportunity for saintlyhood. They have the opportunity to reach the same level as Saint Peter. Saint Peter, he's a saint because he was given the keys to heaven. He became the first pope, and when he was accused of being a Catholic, he said, "Yes, I am," and he was crucified upside down for that. It's that weird. It's not so much you are getting special treatment. It's more that you are getting more recognition in this life. That's the best way I can describe it. Now, I'm sure I'm describing it horribly. I'm sure I'm making it sound horrible.
No, it's all right.
No, I mean, personally, I mean, it made sense, but also I have like a Lutheran background. Like Lutherans don't believe in purgatory. It's not a thing, but it makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand what you're saying.
It's a halfway house.
Yeah, exactly. Adam gets it. It's where Ben Fink would have gone.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Fink.
Yeah, Ben Fink.
So I kind of wanted to get into a little bit your reasoning for being the faith that you are. Nick, you said like it was just you were taught it.
So also, to be fair, most of the people who also went to Catholic school are no longer Catholic. I don't know why it stuck with me, but it did.
So my reason for becoming an atheist was, I mean, for a long time I believed in God. I mean, when I was younger, religion was pushed on me, as it is for most people.
So Adam and I have gone over this before. If it was done horribly wrong. What he was taught was horribly wrong.
Well, so here's where it came in for me, because I had two different parents, who one was Lutheran, one was Catholic. They always had this divide between their religious beliefs. My mom is one of those people. I went to Lutheran church with her a few times after I'd already become an atheist. But my mom was one of those people that she grew up out in the country, and she felt closer to God in what he created. She felt no needs to go to a church. She felt that's why, like, these two guys have been to my house. We have big open windows looking out a forest, essentially. And she would sit there and read a book, and she felt closer to God by doing that than going to any church. My dad was raised as strict a Catholic as you can possibly be raised. My dad's family, still to this day, are the family that say gay people are wrong and they should be killed. My dad's not like this anymore. My dad is eased up, but my dad's family is very against any modern societal issue. They have that belief system, which is not all Catholics. I know that. That's the Catholic that I was taught, and I didn't agree with that. Especially, I'm in the generations that you just started having open gay kids in school and stuff. And that it just didn't fly by me. I didn't like that. I didn't like the having to go to church. My uncle is a born again Christian and is one of those people that he is one of the worst people I know. But every Sunday he goes to church and gets forgiven for all of his sins, and he thinks he's the greatest human being alive. I was also baptized Catholic, but that was because my mom told me when I was younger that if you're baptized Catholic, you don't have to be baptized again, because in God's eyes you've been baptized once and that's fine. Whereas if you're baptized Lutheran and I decided to be Catholic, I'd have to get baptized as Catholic. It was kind of like a saving me from having to be baptized again later in life. That was her explanation. Whether that's right or not, that was what I was told.
From a political standpoint, that is correct.
I still believed in God, more leaning on the Lutheran side, until when I was in the middle school. I constantly praying. I have a really rough mental state. I have a few mental issues, and I was going through depression, had awful anxiety. I have had Asperger's syndrome. Asperger's syndrome does not exist anymore, but so I would pray for help. And where did that leave me? It left me attempting to take my own life. And that kind of brought me to I reevaluated my life and was like, I've been praying for help, and I've been praying for strength, and I've been praying to have this pain end in a way that doesn't make me want to kill myself. And nothing worked. So it was difficult for me to come back from that experience and say that there's something out there greater, because of the shit that I had to go through and the problems that I had. And I've discussed, not necessarily with Nick, but I've discussed with other religious people before, and they're like, well, God didn't want you to kill yourself, and that's why you failed. And I'm just like, that to me, that's just a load of horse shit, because at this point you've already, like, you've lost me on that. I had been depressed since as long as I can remember. Elementary school, I hated my life. Like, I grew up hating myself and hating my life, and nothing got easier for me until I just let go and decide I'm going to pave my own way, and I'm doing my own thing. I'm not relying on anything else to help me. I have to figure this shit out on my own because I'm all alone. And then things turned around for me. So that's my background into why I'm an atheist. And I've been an atheist since 7th grade. Anyone else would like to open up?
I mean, I would like to say that I'm about to go down a much happier route than Adam, but I can't say that I will, because the reason Adam and I are friends is because of how similar our lives have been. My parents are still together to this day. They've been married for over 40 years now. But I was raised Lutheran my entire life, and I don't think I ever truly believed it. I kind of just went through the motions type of a thing, got confirmed. Then after I got confirmed is when I hit high school. And in high school is when I started to get to learn about psychology. And I got really, really into psychology. I'm still really, really into it. You get to, if you don't know what psychology is, then psychology is the science of studying the brain, of how you mentally work, how you understand things, how different mental problems cause different things. Like, I don't know how to explain psychology other than, like, it is the overall understanding of just, like, your brain. And if you study psychology, you get to understand yourself better in a way. And when I hit 9th grade, aka my freshman year of high school, is when I really started to learn that. And I was still Lutheran. Throughout my entire high school, I was still Lutheran. I still did Lutheran things and went to, like, Lutheran gatherings of kids and stuff like that. But I always questioned things because I started to learn how how your brain works and how it deals with things, how depression works, how everything like that kind of works. And like I said, I would like to be happier than Adam, but there was a point in high school where I did try to take my own life. It also didn't work, obviously, as I am here speaking to your fucking ears. So studying psychology is kind of where I learned how depression worked and how anxiety worked. And then after high school, I went to a Lutheran college for my freshman year. I played college football for a year and then got a concussion that ended my career. And after that, I took a year off, still dealt with those symptoms and everything like that. And that's kind of where everything started to get a little hazy for me on the religion side. Kind of realized that how many how much I wasn't for believing in Lutheranism, and I didn't really try any other religion, and maybe I should, I don't know. But when you start to get to understand how your mind works and what you want, you kind of hit an aspect of that's just what you want. And I'm at the point where I don't give a shit if there's something afterwards. Like if I have to deal with fucking hell for the rest of eternity, I don't care. I am cognitive now, and I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm saying, and I want to enjoy my life now that I remember it. And if I have to deal with going into hell later and dealing with my problems that the stupid shit I did on earth, then great. I get to deal with for the rest of eternity. But right now is what I know and understand, and mentally can tell myself to like, go fuck yourself. I know what I am, and I will deal with this on my own terms. And that's kind of where I strayed away and realized what I wanted in my life. This is what I know. This is how it works. And why not just enjoy life now and ignore or not worry about devoting my life to something that I don't know? Because I still do believe that there is something, like something had to create this, right? Whether it's evolution, whether it's a god, whether it's multiple gods, whatever. I do think that there's something, like we came from something. What the fuck that is, I don't fucking know, and I don't care enough to learn about what the fuck it is.
So as a little boy, I was raised Christian with my family having history in Seventh-day Adventists. And my parents broke out of that eventually, and we were a non-denominational Christian family. I went to a Lutheran private school until I was in the 6th grade, like halfway through it. After that, I went to a public school until I graduated. And then while going through public school, like I was still a big old Christian boy, and went to, I had a church that I went to, but eventually they started to, I don't want to say like excommunicate, but like they were having some problems with us. And that allowed me room to be able to figure shit out myself. And I started having questions of things like, if I didn't have this religion, would I be able to enjoy things in media a lot more? But it led down to like, why does God actually have a problem with homosexuality to the point of calling it an abomination in the Bible? Like you can actually point to that. And one of the biggest things that led to me leaving was geology, being able to study how the earth itself works, understanding plate tectonics and how long like everything happens. It was like, I can't really justify the belief in a young earth creation anymore. So like if that's wrong, then what else is wrong in the Bible? And it just got to a point where it's like, I can't really justify a belief of this anymore. I left Christianity while I was a high school senior, and I was just an atheist. And at one point I was getting pretty big into listening to Marilyn Manson. And so I was like looking up Wikipedia articles about him, like as true as whatever 2007 articles were back then. And I learned that he eventually met Anton LaVey, and they had a pretty good conversation. So I was like, okay, who's Anton LaVey? The founder of the Church of Satan. Okay, like what's this about? And so I learned, okay, there's an existence of the Satanic Bible. So just for shits and kicks, I'll pick up a copy and just read it. And in reading it, like it introduces itself by saying things like, hey, are you tired of doing these like religious practices and getting nothing out of it? Are you tired of these superstitious rituals that people do and having fuck all happen? Well, cool. Well, this book might be for you. And like reading further, and the vitriol that it had related to Christianity was something that was completely understandable for me, because like I was controlled by Christianity for the majority of my life back then. and then reading into like how you're actually your own God. You need to create your own future. You need to keep the people that actually have meaning to you close to you, and don't give your time to people that are going to waste it. And it's like, okay, this actually makes a lot of fucking sense. It even gets into shit like consent when it comes to sexuality. Like you have to have consent with a partner before you do anything related to that. So not in the sense of like you're sitting down with her, it's like, do you mind if I kiss you? It's like you make sure that you and the other person are on the same page before like you hit the bases. And so it's like, okay, well, I guess I agree with all this. So like, what now? And it took me a little time to acknowledge, like, okay, yeah, I am a Satanist, and I kept it to myself for a long time. I would tell it to people that I was dating or like really close friends, not family though, until recently. And I lived as a person who was an example that you do not have to actually join the church to be a Satanist. Like if the philosophy applies to you, cool, done. And so I remember last year, I was like super pissed off at people, like blurted out, I'm joining the fucking church. So I made an event out of it. I filled out the membership form and submitted it on the fall equinox. And so like that year I was celebrating my first Halloween as a member of the church. And just last week I had my first birthday as a member. And actually the birthday is the most celebrated day of the year for yourselves because it's celebrating your own existence. So yeah.
And we hit a lot of real serious shit, and I'm not sure I'm ready for it. And by that, I mean I wasn't ready for it, and here we are now.
So I'm gonna start some questions. So I have a lot of questions that are aimed at all of us. Any specific questions I ask, most of them are from Reddit. A couple of them are from me. But my first question is, how can you tell me that God exists when the majority of Catholicism and Christianity is marketing? And before, I'd like to point out the marketing aspect of it. Halos actually stem from Egyptian faith, and God is actually a reinterpretation of Zeus.
I'll do you one better, Adam. There is actual historical evidence that there was an eclipse in November, and it is said in the Bible that when Jesus died, the sky went black, as if it was night. So you can say that when Jesus died, there was an eclipse. And could you imagine being that Roman soldier stabbing him in the heart to this dude who's like, oh, he's saying he's the son of God. Oh, this silly man. I stab him in the chest. Oh, this silly man. Sky went black. Oh, shit.
And I think we all know that Jesus wasn't born on Christmas.
He was born in like August, I think. Yeah. So these holidays, you're not wrong. It's marketing. And I still celebrate Jesus's birth on Christmas, even though he was most likely born in like October or August. I still celebrate these things because they are symbolic, and every faith in the world celebrates by symbolism. Should I celebrate Jesus' death in November? Maybe. It also doesn't matter.
Well, I'm saying, how can you tell me that God exists when the majority of the faith is a lie and marketing to get you to believe in this faith? So what part of the faith is actually real? Like, where is that line drawn of where is it real and where is it fake?
The part that's real is the belief that my sins are forgiven. My sins, I am not my sins. I'm not. I sin every day. It doesn't matter what, your sins are forgiven. It means that Jesus loves you. That's not what I'm pushing. I'm not pushing marketing. I'm pushing that you're loved. I'm pushing that you, no matter how impure you are, you can be forgiven. I can be forgiven. Anyone can be forgiven.
So my next question is for Dirk. Do you believe in or see a connection between, now I don't know what this word is, Gnosticism, Gnosticism, and Satanism?
A collection of religious ideas and systems which originated.
I know nothing about this.
God.
This is purely someone else's question.
Oh fuck yeah, Gnosticism is not really something I dived into much. Oh, let me pull up here. Britannica. Let's see here. Any of various related philosophical and religious movements prominent of the Greco-Roman world in the early Christian era? Well, consensus on a definition of Gnosticism has proved difficult. It looks like it. The groups conventionally classified as Gnostic did not constitute a single movement. Oh, this sucks.
It's always a good start to an answer.
Well, let's say if how related it is to like early Christian beliefs. I mean, with the original meaning behind Satan, like yeah, like it predates it a long time ago. I don't know. I don't think I know enough to really talk about Gnosticism from here, but like the religion of Satanism takes a lot from early writings, though. So
you definitely see a connection.
There probably is a connection there. It's just oh, here we go. What is Gnosticism in layman's terms? The thought and practice, especially of various cults of late pre-Christian and early Christian centuries, distinguished by the conviction that matter is evil and emancipation comes through. What?
No, I get that. I felt that same way while reading the Catechism. No, I get it. It's fine.
Okay, I don't know. I guess I don't know.
Okay.
That is about we do accept that answer on the podcast. We do accept that answer.
I accept it.
We accept that.
I accept it. You don't know.
I'll ask a question for Dirk after this, or following that. What's the overall? I guess I don't know how to ask this question, but the Satanic Panic and how did that really affect Satanism? Like as a whole, like how is Satanism different now than what it was back then with the Satanic Panic?
We don't really have much of a Satanic Panic going on right now, and in fact, pseudo-Satanism is becoming very trendy. So, but back in the day, back in the 80s and early 90s, like LaVey had his work cut out for him in trying to help people understand what the actual religion is about. There were times where LaVey was also afraid of like getting harassment, and he would use this perception of him being this like high and mighty evil lord as a way of getting people to just leave him the fuck alone. But it like they got past the Satanic Panic, but it took a lot of work and a lot of patience from the church's end. But because of the Church of Satan, now people can be open, or people can practice the religion without as much fear of persecution as they would back then.
Explain to I don't know how to word this question, but a big thing about I guess probably not now, but at least back during the Satanic Panic is where I get a lot of my Satanist info from, I guess you would say, just because I like true crime and stuff, and that was a huge period in true crime was the Satanic Panic and people being wrongly convicted for shit that they didn't do just because they were Satanists. Explain to us how Satanists actually view children. Because a lot of people think like, sacrifice a baby.
From the 11 satanic rules of the earth,
like,
number 9 is do not harm little children. So that's pretty clear cut compared to the stereotypes that were brought in due to the Satanic Panic. You leave children alone, don't hurt them. I mean, for people like myself, like they are supposed to be continuing whatever we're working on right now. So let me also describe this in another way here. So Satanism has gone through different phases. So for the first phase, it was like we went through the they went through the blasphemy phase. It's like, okay, we're being the spooky religion, we're being scary. But then after that phase was over, it was like, okay, it's time to fucking work. There's a lot of shit that we want to have done. And if you're not going to be taking care of the kids, then who's going to be able to carry things over once you're dead? Like it's sort of like the practice in scientific method. It's like you need people that are able to grow into and adapt what we're working on scientifically and what we're understanding.
Like, ask more questions.
Yeah.
Especially because of what you said earlier. I don't remember if it was during recording or beforehand, but you got Satanism isn't about converting people.
Right.
So the whole like continuing on your line is more important than converting people. It is just bringing more people in and then teaching them your religion, basically.
Yeah, we are against proselytizing. If somebody decides and realizes like that they are a Satanist, great. And if they realize that what they read from the Satanic Bible does not apply to them, that's also great as well. You move on how you want to.
So, Jeff, this question is directed at both you and I. It's a two-parter. So the first part is, why does Satanism not appeal to the atheist and the agnostic? As the atheist, I kind of just, I mean, it does appeal to me, but at the same time, I kind of am happy to put myself as not anything. Like, I don't just go around saying, like, I'm an atheist, but for argument's sake, I'm an atheist. Like, do I have a lot of what Dirk describes beliefs? Yeah. But at the same, I'm like, I'm just going to live my life to the best of my ability. And I don't need a label for anything. I just live in my own world. And being an atheist is just the easiest explanation of leave me the fuck alone kind of deal.
Yeah, I don't want people to need Satanism. It's a tool that if you want to use it, you have the ability to.
For me to answer that question, I don't speak for all people who are agnostic. For me personally, it's just I don't know anything about Satanism. And that's a huge thing about me being agnostic is I don't know a lot about a lot of religions, and I am a believer in there is something that has to deal with what we are. Like, something had to do something to where we are humans. Like, something had to happen, and I just don't know what that is. And I also haven't really invested myself into one thing to really try to figure that out. And Satanism falls in that category of I don't know anything about it. I don't know enough about it. And am I interested? Yeah, but I'm also interested in, like, say, Buddhism and Norse mythology and like paganism. Like, I'm interested in everything because I, yet again, as someone who has studied psychology and kind of understands how the human brain works, like, and we know it, like, as just any human being can see this and understand it, is everyone sees things differently, and that's why we're divided. That's why we're all human, but like, we're all divided. We have that mental capacity to accept things on our own terms, and I just don't know the specific thing I want to believe in. And I don't know if I'll ever really find that. Maybe I'll become an atheist where I'm just like, I don't care anymore. But I feel like there's something out there that will, like, maybe explain it to me, and that will be good enough for me. But I don't think there's a universal thing that all of us believe in.
And then the second part of that question is, I would also like to know what the atheist and agnostic think the real difference is between them. I'm an atheist, not agnostic, but I accept that God cannot be disproven, and in the Twilight Zone is near zero impossibility Zeus or Marduk could exist. So would the agnostic simply say he thinks there's a greater chance of it being true? And to what degree? How would you quantify this percentage basis? Real question, not mocking. I feel either you believe or you don't, and that agnostics simply don't believe but are maybe afraid to admit that.
That's something. Fuck, that's a lot to unpack.
Can I try to answer this question actually?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna need.
So an anti-theist is somebody that is against the idea of believing in a God. An atheist is somebody that would say, I am not convinced that a God exists. There is the misconception that an atheist says, God definitely does not exist, when in reality it's I am very sure, or I am not convinced that God exists. An agnostic is somebody that says that God may or may not exist, and we don't have the evidence to prove one or the other. The thing is, there's a lot of overlap between atheists and agnostics, but really atheism, it's really just a matter of like, are you convinced that a God exists or not? It's one or the other.
So I always say, as an atheist, I personally don't think that there's anything out there, but at the same time, I am okay with being proven wrong. Do I want there to be something else after this? Do I want to have eternal happiness? And like, these are great things that I would love to be true. Do I personally think they are? No, personally, I think that once you're dead, you're dead, and like, the legacy that you leave on earth is the best that you're going to get. So I don't think there's a higher power. I don't think that there's other things, but I am okay with being proven wrong. And I hope that I have done my best to be in heaven.
I guess I don't really know if I'm agnostic, because I guess I don't really know what the difference is. I just say agnostic because I do believe that there is something. What I would specifically pinpoint it to, I can't say. Like, I can't put that out there. So I'm sorry, I can't answer the question of like the disproved Twilight Zone, or the impossibility of Zeus or Madoc existing, or Marduk, sorry. I can't answer that. To what degree do I believe something is out there? For me, it's above 50% for me. I wouldn't say it's super high over that, but I think there has to be something out there.
Let me do a couple more questions, and these are for all of us. Given the similarities, often word for word, of all the Abrahamic faiths, and given that evidence of the existence of God is identical in all three, how do you justify believing your particular version, to a large extent similar faiths, while condemning the believers of the other two to eternal hellfire? Please don't try and explain why I'm wrong about hellfire, and focus on why you believe your faith over the others.
So I'm assuming this is mostly targeted at me. Yeah. So I don't believe that my Christians and Jews believe in remarkably the same thing. To me, anti-Semitism is one of the great, all right, you've lost me. So you want to talk about something like political, you want to talk about something philosophical, you bring in anti-Semitism, all right, I'm gone. I'm no longer with you. I refuse to agree with you. I'm done. That, in racism, I'm done. You've lost me completely. And then there is Islam. Islam's a tricky one because it is an Abrahamic faith. It is remarkably similar to Christianity. It is remarkably similar to Judaism. It is remarkably similar to the other Abrahamic faiths. There are differences, but there are overwhelming similarities. In origin, at the very least. In origin matters a fucking hell of a lot. I don't think that I don't think Orthodox Jews who believe 100% Orthodox Judaism are going to hell. I think that they are going to heaven. I think that they are remarkable. I don't believe that Orthodox Islam. I think that is something slightly different because its origins are similar yet slightly different. Asterisks. There's differences. I think that even with Adam, with Dirk, with Jeff, we all believe morally very similar things. We all believe don't kill, don't steal. Bad things are bad, good things are good. We all believe in very
Our-
similar
Our
things.
moral compasses are all aligned the same. Yeah.
Exactly. Do I think that Adam is going straight to heaven? I pray that he does. I pray that he at least reaches purgatory. Because again, in purgatory, there is that hope that you will reach heaven. If anything, if there is any difference at all in these things, it is that myself being a Catholic believer, I will, if in very simple terms, I will cut that purgatory line. I am a sinner. I am a sinner from hell. I doubt I will. I think that I will end up in purgatory, but I have that hope that even though I am in purgatory, I will reach heaven. And that is that guarantee that even though I am a sinner, even though I am suffering in purgatory, I will still reach heaven, that hope of heaven. And I hope and I pray that all of us, even though that we are all sinners, even though that we are all different, even though that we all believe in slightly different things, even though we all still follow that same moral compass, we will still reach there in the end. That's all that matters to me, is the end.
Does anyone else have insight? Yeah.
So I guess to add on to basically, because I was a Lutheran, I'm agnostic now, to go off of what Nick said from what I put in is I think as long as you're a good person, aka you have a moral compass that isn't skewed, I think you're fine. Like, go through life, just don't be a shit human being. We'll all be fine. Just have a good moral compass. Don't try to fuck over other people. Live your life. Help people if you can. If you can't, then that's also fine. But just have a good moral compass. Don't fuck people over.
The last question that I got, I thought Nick and I have talked about this a lot, and I thought it was a really cool question. If you had kids and they asked you the questions, what is the meaning of life and how do I find purpose? How would you answer them relative to your own personal experience and beliefs? Remember, they look up to you and will most probably take everything you say in with deep passion. I'll go first. I would tell my kids, I don't know. I would be completely honest and open with my own faith of being an atheist. Obviously, I wouldn't get into the nitty gritty of why I'm an atheist because they're children. But I would just I don't know, and you are more than willing to look for that answer, however you so choose. And Nick and I have talked about this. I have a goal and a dream for my kids to where I would like to teach my kids as many religions and faiths as possible, but obviously not from me. I would like to take them, I would like to teach my kids Muslim faith. So take them to a mosque, have them sit down and learn. And I would go to if they accepted me, I would go to the service. I would try and talk to them ahead of time. I would want my kids to learn. I don't want my kids to be left in the dark about anything. I would want to take them and teach them Christianity, Catholicism, Lutheran, Satanism, Muslim. I want my kid to make the best decision for them, and I will respect whatever they want to do. If they want to believe in a god, fuck it. If they want to believe in Zeus and believe in the Greek gods, I don't give a shit. I'll do it. And I'll be right there beside you. I might not believe in whatever you want to believe in, but I'm there to support you.
All right. So this is actually kind of the highlight of my college career personally is I was in a psych class. It was 200 level. I can't remember which one it was. And it was a class of probably 40, 50 people. And the professor walked in one day and he went, "What is the meaning of life?" Big psychological question, right? Everyone has a different answer to that. Everyone was answering with different things, make money, be a good person, whatever. And it got to me and I went to be successful. And everyone, and I think he knew it, which is why he asked me the next question without going to the next person. Everyone kind of judged me for that, of being successful, because everyone saw it in their own eyes of being successful, that's such a shitty way of putting it. And he asked me, he's like, "Okay, meaning of life, being successful. what is the meaning of being successful then? The meaning of being successful isn't the same for everyone. Maybe my meaning of successful is I just want to be able to be under a roof and have a job and just go through life and be okay. Maybe for someone else, it's being a successful scientist. Maybe for someone else, it's running a business. Maybe it's different for everyone. Your success is you. And I think to my kid, that's what I would teach is like the meaning, like the meaning of life is just be successful and don't let anyone else tell you what being successful is other than yourself, whatever that might be. I don't think it's religion. I don't think it's believing in something. I think it's just you be you, the best of your own ability, and accomplish your goals. Don't let everyone else set goals for you. Just do what you want, accomplish your goals, and be happy with yourself. That's what I would say.
If I had a kid and that kid was asking me these kind of questions, I would tell the child, I would rather the child find Mormonism on his own and decide that that's what applies to him than for me to indoctrinate the child into Satanism. I would tell him very, I don't want to say cynically, but like, you have to create that yourself. You have to create whatever meaning in your life yourself, because you're the main person who's going to be judging this. You're not going to have the same sort of standards for yourself as like every other person. If you believe that you being able to live paycheck to paycheck is success for you, then that's fine. But yeah, it's like when you die, you're only going to live as long as the memories of family and friends still have that. So yeah, it's really just a matter of making whatever future you want to as successfully as you possibly can.
All right, pretty similar. I'm okay with this.
Make sure you make sure they know they're wrong. So
Hashtag call us
God.
2050.
So I want my kids to do better, and I don't want to tell them how to do better. I want to show them how to do better. I know that I am doing horrible right now. I want to do better then. I want to show that it's not about judging. It's not about anything like that. If I were to judge everyone I walked by, I would have nothing. I'd have no time in the day. What I'm supposed to do today, right now, is try and show people how to be better by being better myself. Not by telling them how to be better, but by being better, by being more forgiving, by being more accepting, by being more, I'm not God. That's not my job. My job is to try and show people how to embrace God, not by telling them how to be more like God. That's what I want to show my kids. That's what I want to show everyone I walk by every day. I'm horrible. Be better than me. Let me show you how to be so much more than what I am.
Someday Nick will have his son on his lap and he'll say, "Son, your future is to slay as much poon as you possibly can.
Bring what I couldn't."
All right. So thanks so much for listening, everyone. We've been You Hate to See It. Dirk, would you like to plug your shit?
Yeah, I do what is known as Super Arrogant Bros every week. It is objectively the best gaming podcast out there. And I'm looking to expand further with other things that I'm doing, including the Plastered Paladins. And like what we do on Super Arrogant Bros is on madcastmedia.com. Subscribe it. Also, subscribe to the Arrogant Media YouTube channel because we are working to try to climb up that subscriber base.
Beautiful. And we are You Hate to See It. We are available wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us on social media. We are available on all of the important ones. And if we're not on this, it's not important. Our Twitter is @YLUH82CIT. if you go to our Podbean website, go to the upper right-hand corner, there's a little green button, and it says Become a Patron. And it's just like Patreon, but by Podbean and created for us. Yeah, it's better. And there's different tier levels that you can subscribe to, $1, $3, $5, and so on, that give you great fucking things if you want them. At $1 level, you can watch the Taskmaster special, which Dirk is on, and Dirk won, and you can fucking see that shit.
Hell yeah,
oh, it's
brother.
so great. We got so drunk, and it was amazing. And you're missing out if you haven't fucking watched it yet. It just costs $1. So thank you guys so much for listening to You Hate to See It. Thanks so much for listening to You Hate to See It, guys. From all of us to all of you, we wish you a Merry Christmas. Fuck yeah, Jeff gets it.
No. If you want your child to actually turn Catholic. I'm crying.